Okay. Alright, we're gonna get this set up because this is gonna be a perspective type of video coming up right now. Pretty much, yeah. So, I put this on my community post later. This is essentially, basically, and more than likely, my last upload on MWIII, like my last ever type of video that I'm gonna be doing on MWIII until Black Ops 6 comes out. The truth is, I kind of ran out of stuff to MW3, especially that this season's been kind of dry a little bit. Like I kind of don't see it. You know what I mean? Anymore. Like I kind of like got burnt out at the end of this season. But I'm really excited for Black Ops 6. No lie, I'm excited. I'm just gonna get all this set up, get some stuff going, and then once we're done, we're gonna head on to we're gonna play some TDM, but just do my usual thing, just play some games, just have fun. And in retrospect, this is possibly enjoy possibly what is more than likely my last. Enjoy what is practically my last upload on this game. I'm just gonna get this set up. Okay, come on. I just gotta get this stuff done real quick. Once I'm done, we can start off where we could start off. Start off and do what we're supposed to do. And that should do it. Alright. Yep, and we're good. Okay, we are set. It's time for this stream. Alright, let's start off. So, basically, this is basically what I call my retrospective of Call of Duty this year. This is essentially what I'm doing. Sup, Joey? So basically today, this is practically a retrospective of basically my last minute thoughts of what I think of MW3. So sit back and relax, stream watchers and viewers, or whatever we could call it nowadays. Let me just get this chat going. Come on, ding. Thank you. Couldn't get my thing to go up. Get my chat ready. There we go. So practically, this is basically my last thoughts, my last review, my true thoughts and my true opinions on MW3, as I repeat myself for the third time in this series. So let's do this. Let me see. As I got my Phoenix Suns hat. Alright. Everything, got every aftermarket part and everything. So let's start off with the first thing about let's start off with the first fact that from the get-go, this game wasn't really gonna be. This game was already exposed.
Team deathmatch.
Practically.
Area hostile. Kill them all.
It was practically exposed, basically right on the get-go. It was already like on the download trip before it even gotten released. Like it was already like at a dead on arrival.
Got movement.
So even though that it was dead on arrival, there's some stuff that I basically did enjoy about the game. So let's start off with just some of the good. Let's try to get on the positives out of the way. Get some stuff. One thing I actually like is definitely this. What I'm playing right now. Honestly, out of all the CODs, I really kind of had a breath of fresh air. It was more of a breath of fresh air from multiplayer. It got me back that movement feeling that I enjoy. MW 2019, like I felt the movement in this. It feels more cleaner. Plus with the field of view helping it out a lot more. Basically, it's basically a good finally getting my and all that, and just trying to enjoy the basically. That was some horrible throwing knife skills on that one. Another one I also did like is basically some of the finishing moves were actually pretty good and all that. Now, of course, with me on this channel, I have done finishing moves. I've done finishing moves. It's basically craziness. It's basically insanity. Like, I've done the worst to the best to the absolute like mid to the greatest to just any move you can. Like, if you can name it, I've used it basically. We even have some that are not even in the game or are rare at this point too. That are basically rare. Rare. So these have some really great stuff that I enjoyed. Especially ones with like the black cell operators, with most of the black cell operators actually being worth it.
Got you covered.
And their finishing moves were actually pretty cool and all that. And then the battle pass from seasons 1 and 2 were really good. Season 1 and 2, and maybe the WWE one was actually like kind of worth it. I kind of saw the enjoyment in them a little bit, at least in my perspective. I don't know about others because I already know the battle pass. But that's what it was. Let me see if I can get this kill. Most of this is going to get edited out because it's going to be shortened into like a 10-minute video. And I'm trying to get more of the important stuff in here, so. Then I kind of, for another one for multiplayer, some of the maps work very well, while some of the remastered maps work very well, basically, in my opinion. So, like, Terminal, Favela, and there's one more that they actually had. Terminal Favela, I really think held up very well out of all the remaster maps. I mean, they had more movement, they felt open, and even if people try to camp, there's a way to counter them. And it was just, I mean, in my opinion, I feel like those maps basically age better. Basically, it's one of those maps that age better.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Not just.
Enemy UAV
not based on just publicity and just to be used, just to be ruined later on. I feel like those two maps actually held well as remasters. And then lastly, the DLC maps were actually pretty good. I actually liked some of the DLC maps. They actually had more variety with DLC this year with some actual maps that were playable. The only one that about some was the variants, but there were some variants that worked. But I say mostly it's just the fact that they actually try to make DLC maps playable and all that. One of my underrated ones that I actually like is the current. It was the clown one. I feel like the clown one to play as and play in it basically. Gives us that advanced warfare look from that DLC map where you have to fight in that clown hotel basically. And that's what I kind of feel off of that. You know, it's basically a one map that actually feels unique. I just wish they had more Halloween maps. Greece was actually pretty fun for me. I love using the underwater tactics. Anyway, it was
Friendly cluster mine planted.
It was basically a really cool way to get some new playstyle in and how to work the water system very well. Then for zombies, I did kind of like this attempt to try to bring it as an open world type of thing. Now, the open world zombies ain't really much my thing. I really am the old school zombies. I love starting off in the beginning and working my way up. I like how they're trying to make it more open world-ish, like try to make it seem like a mini battle royale and all that. And I see what they're going by. I just wish they use a different map mostly. Instead of just using they use a different map for this.
UAV standing by.
And then my last good and all that for this game is practically the amount of
Area is hot.
it's practically mostly just using different guns. Basically using
UAV orbiting
instead
the
of
AO.
using like
Recon
variants
online.
like, you know, having like let me show you. MWIII having like the same G3, the same M4 and all that because you have to unlock weapon families. Switched it back to normal and basically did it the way it was supposed to be basically. Like I mean think about it.
Be advised, UAV is exiting the
like,
AO.
it was stupid the way they did it the first time where you had to unlock based off the weapon families, and then it basically made ranking up pointless, in my opinion. It was a pointless rank up that just didn't make any sense, in my opinion.
Movement here.
And I'm glad that they actually try to take that away and actually bring back a normal rank up. There's a bad that I'm gonna say later on in this stream that's gonna make a lot more sense why this rank up system's also pretty busted in my opinion. I think I'm gonna back out because I'm annoying everyone.
We secured the lead.
Yeah, I'm gonna back out because I'm gonna annoy. I'm gonna go on zombies and actually do zombies for once. I'll do zombies as like the last one. So yeah, I've been playing. So yeah, I'm gonna do zombies as like the last one as my background theme. So that way we can just, you know, do without annoying other players on multiplayer. So let's do it like this. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, I felt like more variety was in the games, like especially from let me think about it, where we had some stuff like, you know, I'm not gonna. I like building up. Now, as I said, like the last good was definitely some of the crossover stuff. Like I didn't mind some of the crossover stuff, especially like the crow was actually not bad. I didn't mind the crow being in the game. I thought it was pretty cool that we actually had some. I felt like we had a little bit more than we gotten in these bundles, especially from the King Kong and Godzilla making a return. I still kind of wish we kind of slowed down on the, you know, on the what we had, on the so much of what we gotten from the crossovers, and actually had like pure soldiers than what we gotten and all that. And the only reason why I kind of didn't mind it because it was basically me, and I enjoy like, you know, being different crossovers and all that. And that was practically, that's why I basically like, you know, kind of give it a pass on. Then now, so yeah, those are all my good about the game and all that. And pretty much let's go over the bad, where we basically go from what we saw it was good, and we go from something to a very, very bad to the bad right here. And unfortunately, I got a few bad in this list too, and it's not very good too, because there's a lot. Starting off with the first bad thing, it's definitely, even though that I said some of the remastered maps worked well, I didn't say all of them, as most of the remastered maps did not age very well, basically. They did not age very well, and I'm talking about these two maps alone is Derailed. It's mostly Derailed and Karachi. Karachi is basically a campfest map. Say like you play the game and you just basically play the game and you just campfest on the same spawns, the same rooftop, or the same stuff like you did back in the old school days. And then yeah, you come back to a new game with the map with much more movement, and you still do the same thing. And Derailed is still one of the worst maps of all time. And then Wasteland is essentially basically started where it left off of being one of the most forgettable and useless maps, basically. The trenches just made it so difficult. They made the grasses even more impossible to see, and the fact that they didn't even add the miniguns that basically made it unique to begin with, it's just sad. The game,
Let's get this done,
the game
Deadpool.
truly fell off with that. Basically, it fell off so bad that I just can't even explain how bad it was. I was sharp. Okay, there we go. So practically, yeah. Some maps just didn't age well, and I really wish I could. I know it's kind of like one of those like low points, give it to something else, but that's my opinion. It's just the map, the multiplayer didn't work well. Then you got zombies, the weapon imbalances were just confusing. Some weapons were pretty balanced, but some were just bad. And I'm not talking about just some of the MW3 weapons, as most of the MW3 weapons are practically the most used, are practically like very good, solid to very good. Like I don't even think like there's a single assault rifle I can deem as bad. Same thing for the SMGs. I feel like almost every SMG was really good in my opinion. And yet, the one game's weapons that ended up faltering was the MW2 weapons. Besides the M16 that had an aftermarket part, and same thing for the MP5, the Lockman Shroud, the MP5 Suppress, which also came in with the freaking suppressor, and then you can have a fully automatic. Other than those two, the MW2 weapons suffered so bad. Like, they basically nerfed it to those guns to the ground so bad that almost nobody used them. And it's sad because I've reused them again, and there's some that actually, viable assault rifles in this game, which really, I mean, I'm not joking, there's actually some that work. Like, I used the Scar H, the Scar L, and the M9, and those worked perfectly. I felt like they were still pretty good, and people just simply forgot about them. Because, I mean, in MW2, MW2, the M19 was actually one of the best. 222, akimboing them, fast fire rate, everything was perfect with those. But then when it came to, like I said, when it came to like futuristic ones, like like today, for some reason they decided just to nerf every gun to the ground just so that they can make it. It made them basically the most useless of all time. Like I just felt like this one was just absurd. Like I really didn't think they like a gun clash, and not just on the entire game. Then the next one that I have to put in my list where I say in the downright ugly zone is possibly
Heads up, Deadpool. You've got shambles in the position.
Then the next guy is underwhelming zombies. The zombies, I mean, I can see like open world-ish, battle royale-ish, but that's where I got the good in, where like they actually wanted to try something new and try something where they took out Cold War. It was a good game. Actually, that I did like Outbreak in Cold War, but it's just the execution was poor. No one really cared much about the story because I mean most of the story updates that they had was essentially all until after like in the mid-season update is when they started caring about the story. And if they would have cared about the story a lot more, I really do think a lot of people cared more about it. No one cared about it because they actually ruined it because they wanted to reloaded seasons instead, or just like really late into the seasons where basically people just simply gone about the game. Then the next that I have to say is definitely up there with this, and I have to say variety, and basically the variety of everything in this game. Like they basically made this game basically basically like MW2, but with movement. And they couldn't. And if they would have added some new stuff besides just movement and everything, I really feel like people would stop saying MW 2.5, and people would actually say it's instead they made it basically almost similar to the other game. It basically was a DLC pack. So basically a DLC pack and extended story, just a way for people just to it was just so stupid the way they handled this game, and this game should have been a standalone or just never been released in the first place. Then the next bad has to go. Then the last bad, bad before we head into the well, a lot of downright uglies coming up, and it has to be the underwhelming. Not only just the underwhelming zombies and everything is not just enough. It has to be the fact that we basically practically how down far we gone. Like this is it. Like this is basically the last Modern Warfare for a while. Like literally the last one for a while. And you know we're gonna head to track for 7 years, and yet now this game has literally it felt like it given up way too early. Like I'm not saying that we gave it up too early. I'm saying that the developers gave it up way so early, and they didn't even give it a chance to even to fix it. They just slapped on a few things and then just tried to make multiplayer somewhat playable, and it just failed. Also, the Warzone. And same thing for Warzone. They put too much focus on Warzone, and they forgot that the second most important thing, basically the most important thing in general, was also the multiplayer. Multiplayer wasn't there just because it's everybody's second favorite. It was there because everybody in the first place. That's what Call of Duty is made for. It's a multiplayer game where we play with our friends or randoms, and we just all play Call of Duty. We didn't just do it just for competitive or play battle royale games. And they turned this game into a competitive sweat fest with people trying to rank up. Instead of focusing on multiplayer, they're using it to just rank up guns. And that's the thing. They basically intertwine the freaking XP with each other, so now all guns can be easily just to be used just to grind for camos and, well, not camos, for attachments just to play Warzone. And it's sad because these games, I feel like if Warzone didn't intertwine with the actual games, it would have made it much more aversive around it. So we got through the good, and like I said, there were some good things in the game that I enjoyed, and there were some good things that I definitely did. And you can see there was a lot of bad that I basically rambled about. Now this is the part where you head to the downright ugly. And let's get into the main event of the downright ugly. And you guys probably have guessed it, the campaign. Easily, possibly, I think I have never quit on the campaign so early in my life. Like on the first mission of the game, I straight up gave up on it, like without even giving it a chance, because I knew how bad it was gonna be, how bad it was just by the start. Like just by the start alone, you can already feel like it just already feels underwhelming and all that type of stuff. Like I kid you not, I really quit on the game on the first mission, and I never went back to it. The mission, it just felt so soulless and lifeless in the first place, dude. Like I never felt a Call of Duty so lifeless in a campaign mission ever. Like every single time you open up a campaign, and like look at even in the bad times, even like in the bad times, like in World War II, Advanced Warfare, Hot Ghost, they at least did the best to make a good thing out of something and all that. They didn't make it soulless or just try to go straight for it. They slowly build up the story and they made it good. That's why games like MW2, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, World at War, OG MW3 were so good. Heck, even MW 2022 were one of the greatest had at least a good opening. It had a good like seasoning to the campaign, so that way we can see what's going on with the story. I know it wasn't the best, but at least it had a decent beginning, so at least it can get us intrigued on what it is. MW 2019 was essentially like a start of a movie that instantly like caught the eyes of a lot of things. Cold War was a really good opener with the opening, and it basically showed us like almost like a Black Ops 1, even though yes it was a sequel, it gave us that Black Ops 1 vibe to it. MW3 did not even reach that. The first mission, and then it just got worse throughout the game. The open combat missions were the ones killed this campaign, basically throw it to the dirt. And I know a lot of people may say, oh, Vanguard was worse, Black Ops 3 was worse. Nah, MW3 possibly had the most lifeless, most boring, the fastest, and one of the most worst campaigns of all time. I think this basically trumps every campaign to this day. Is if you somehow make the worst campaign than that, then you might be the worst Call of Duty in Call of Duty history. Like this is embarrassing for Call of Duty. Like to go from something like very good to end up doing something like this like ruining the storyline of Modern Warfare completely in this rebooted era. It's just sad. It's just sad to even like be a fan of this, especially because I even first had Infinity Ward's back, but since after MW2, I lost all faith in that stupid ass company. Then after MW, that was a huge ass ramble campaign, dude. That was a huge ass ramble. But soon after MW3, and after just basically talking about a lot of campaigns and basically talking about that the next thing that I have to dislike about that campaign too, still, I'm not even done. This is the next downright ugly, the introduction of open combat missions. And the worst part, this is still going to be possibly the thing that's added. So one thing I said about in a TikTok / YouTube short was practically saying like they should experiment more with undercover open world type missions, like Desperate Measures and Liberation, where you basically have to go undercover as basically like to go in and all that against the bad guys, and just try not to blow your cover in any chance possible. And it makes feel like you don't want to blow your cover, but at the same time, it gives us that feeling. They took it away. Like Liberation and Desperate Measures showed it. Like you basically are like trying your best not to blow your cover, even though like in Cold War your cover was close to being blown, meaning that everyone's got eyes on you already, which made it already intriguing enough. Open combat missions did not feel like that. It felt like just a Warzone. It just felt like a normal Warzone map. That's all it did. It was just a normal ass Warzone map that practically everyone's plays. Like it's just recycled from Al Mazrah and just put in there just because. Like it's dumb. They practically took away what was like creative about the campaign and everything, and just threw it into this piece of trash, dude. We're never gonna get. And the worst part about it is that they're gonna have this possibly in the next future CODs, meaning that this soulless, lifeless, basically this shit is basically gonna be in future CODs, which is embarrassing. It's embarrassing to even think about that this is still gonna be in Call of Duty, even though how negative, poorly received this shit gone, dude. And me personally, I've been a fan of Call of Duty for years. I've been a fan of campaigns for years. I always like complete campaigns first, because I mean the first thing I do in Call of Duty is play the campaign. That's all I'm gonna always do. And this game, oh my gosh, open combat missions ruined every story aspect of Modern Warfare. It basically took away the connection. It took away all of everything. We basically, the main characters almost basically became side characters, and Makarov barely was even shown. I was expecting Makarov to be shown a lot in the game, basically to just, set up a story, basically make this seem like this. All they did was just show him committing acts, and just basically saying like he's committed so many days and hours basically just days causing chaos. Then you got General Shepard and Graves just basically like like saying no he did it type of thing, like no he did it, no he did it, no he did it to a court system and all that, basically like lying to each other, basically like their own betrayals, and then the underworld, and then the last downright ugly. These are the last 3 downright uglies of the campaign. I'm surprised that I don't have more of the campaign, but it's still gonna keep going with the downright ugly. As the underwhelming deaths of Soap and General Shepard. And the OG MW2 and 3 weeks. I need to calm down because I'm actually getting heated now because of this shit. Here we go, you ready? In MW2, in the OG MW2 and 3, I mean, we had one of the most iconic death scenes from both Soap and General Shepard. We take down General Shepard with the throwing knife in his eye, and then Soap dies to a clock tower falling on him. As we desperately try to save him, but we're too late, and he ends up bleeding out to death. But and it made it so iconic because Captain Price was had a really good way of showing the emotions. But it was such a great way to basically show that it's like a father and son type of bond. Even though they're friends, they're basically like a father and son. It's like a father losing his son right in his own arms is what made it so emotional. It made it damn, they really did this to us. And that's why it was a really good way they died. And then of course we ended up getting General Shepard's death, and General Shepard's death was one of the best ways to take out a villain. The fact that you rip the knife out of your own chest, throw it into their eye, and then just fly off and try to desperately save Soap during that is basically one way to end MW2. And then they took it away with it in this timeline, dude. This one basically pissed me off because this one, and it didn't piss me off because it was a sad death or anything. It pissed me off because how badly handled it was. Like they made it like. It was already bad enough that we barely got connection with the Ghost and Soap duo, and then basically just ended just like that after one game. Like, it was just a poorly way to do it. They took away a chance to make Soap, try to at least make Soap have a really good developing after being only in literally one voice line in MW 2019, and then added late in season 2 of Cold War before they hit into Warzone 84 basically afterwards, and they ruined it. They took it away with one gunshot wound, and it was the worst character death of all time. Like, they just, like, all they did, like he had a knife, and he could have straight up went for the kill, went for the neck right there, and he ended up going for the shoulder. Not only that, the enemies that were the friendlies that were right there guarding the place couldn't even get a brain to even like go up and take down Makarov. Like, there's that, and like they're gonna make them look that NPC like they're basically they're worse than GTA NPCs. They're worse than GTA NPCs.
Catch my drift.
They made them into basically brain dead rats, which I get that NPCs are supposed to be that way. They can't be that dumb. You seriously can't make something that dumb. Make them that dumb. It basically ruined everything what we had with this storyline. It was such a great start, and they ruined it. And then I don't know what they're doing for Captain Price. I don't know if they're trying to make this guy the Call of Duty's version of John Wick or some shit. I don't know. It's so the dumbest way they can handle General Shepard's death. This guy, General Shepard, lost everything, basically, that made him into this evil son of a bitch that we all know. And they turned him into such a wuss. And it pisses me off because he was such an evil ass dude. He was so evil. He played so well. The evil intentions were perfect. Like, you gotta be... Like, how can you have this and then rip what was good about him in the first place away, dude? It was such the dumbest thing I've seen in a game, and it still is to this day, dude. His death was so bad, too. Just have him get shot just how he just shot his head basically with the suppressed pistol from Captain Price, and that was it. Like, that was it. That was it. That's how we're gonna handle the death. Seriously, that was so stupid, and it might even be even worse than downright ugly. It's just so bad, dude. How they handled everything. And then the last downright ugly, and yeah, I forgot to add one more thing. It's basically just ruining the characters in general. I feel like season 3 basically ruined any chance that any of these characters get like famous ever again. Like, even Captain Price probably is now redeemable at this point. It's so like in my opinion, if the campaign makes even Captain Price irredeemable, even as much as characters love like Ghost, even unredeemable, then you know you screwed up, and they screwed up. The fact that they made two, like they made a trio, a quad, the 4-man squad that's supposed to be the most amazing, the most badass, the most iconic squad into basically nothing. They basically turned them all into side characters. Basically like getting all the characters, like all the beloved characters, like say like you get Takio and MC and many others for zombies, and basically turn them into role players, like basically turn them into jobbers. You see how embarrassing that shit is? You took it away. They took it away something that made characters look great just so they can do this shit, dude. Man, dude. And then the worst part is Alex and Farrah. Oh my gosh. They should have never brought back Alex, in my opinion. I get what they were trying to do, especially that they actually put some detail to it with this prosthetic leg. But even with that was still the dumbest idea ever. Like, at first, everybody was hyped that he was returned. Even I was happy that he returned in Season 3. I mean, Alex was such a great start for 2019, and they ripped away what was everything that... They turned this man into a side character. They turned this man to a side character, and now he's down to just basically being worthless and just being someone with Farrah. Farrah, oh my gosh. I never seen someone get so much love and then ended up losing the love, like ended up people getting turning on somebody in my life. It felt like the baby face in WWE who did their best to become really loved, but then the fans turn over. Basically like John Cena, or maybe even Cody Rhodes in the future, or even Roman Reigns. I don't even know. Or even Roman Reigns. This is like the worst downfall from a main character I have ever seen. Farrah went from this badass to like her main story, which was so well written, to just getting axed in half, just only have one scene in MWIII, and then become an open combat mission? Like, what are you guys doing?
You are about to meet one of Hugo's most wanted.
Anyway, now that we got all the multiplayer done, I finally figured out all the campaign done. Now we're gonna talk about the next downright really done. Next up is basically just to allow losing the multiplayer identity. I mean, this year's identity for Call of Duty was basically one of the worst we've ever seen. Like, I've never seen a multiplayer identity so fast from a snap of a finger. It was already lost in MW2, but MW3 basically made it turn it into another level. Like, let's start off with the first thing why I say it lost its identity. Snoop Dogg makes his return, but then we get the Godzilla bundles, Cheech and Chong, Devin Booker, and even though I'm a Devin Booker fan, everybody knows I have a Devin Booker poster right here. I've been a Devin Booker poster fan because I'm a Suns fan, and I've been a Devin Booker fan. I don't care what people say, but even I'm realistic to say that I never asked for this. Okay, well, I kind of did in one. Well, I kind of did, and I kind of predicted it. But still, it was like a joke. It was like a joke. I didn't really think they were gonna really add Devin Booker to the game, and they really added him to the game. Like, why? Like, why? And let's not get started with the. Let's not get started with the Walking. I can kind of get Walking Dead, but mostly just for zombies. And then Michael Myers, which I don't mind Michael Myers. He was in Call of Duty before, but doing this, it was better just to have him as like something else and have him as an operator. I remember when I put him as like an operator, like as like a hype up thing. Because I just thought what was people saying. And one comment said it correctly. He should have been a kill streak still. He should have never been an operator. It feels weird playing Michael Myers with a gun and running with them. Even though that his character basically the whole time is him like him walking. Like the identity has been lost for years. So I never seen my identity lost this bad like ever. I played Call of Duty since the COD 4 days. And I just don't know what to do with this anymore, dude. It's so... Man, I have no more words, honestly. I really have no more words to say about the identity. And then for MW... And then the last multiplayer, Downright Ugly, it's just... the fact that they hyped up stuff, and the fact that they hyped up stuff, and then... It's just a lack of cinematic stuff, dude. They hype up stuff a lot for this game. I swear that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to hype up a game this season and make it seem like that. But the thing that I liked about it most is the fact that they actually make it progress through a story. Like I really liked it that yes, all these events are canon and it made perfect sense. It made the game much more open and diverse instead of it's just it's only going to be a campaign and this is all just content. They actually put effort into making these part of the story. So we end up getting a lot of these, and it turns out that they can ruin things within instances. At first, I would say Cold War ruined it, but in my opinion, Cold War in reality, Cold War and MWIII really showed how to make a cinematic really good. Like they made cinematic perfect aligned with the story, which is really good. It was a good way that they actually were able to show the story while also keeping the flow of Warzone going. It felt natural. It felt normal. It felt great, especially during the haunting of Verdansk event, the haunting in Cold War and all that made it easy to remember and easy to just easy to get engaged with. This year they didn't even do that. At least they tried it in MW2, but none of the cinematics were memorable. Then they had two decent ones, and then all of a sudden around season 3, they just threw the story right out the window and just make it to basically like a PR system just to buy. It just straight up basically became Fortnite right there and then. This was basically the realization that they're never gonna go back to the days they were. This is where I basically gave up, basically. I basically accepted fate at this point, where we're never gonna get back what we had before. This is what Call of Duty is for basically forever now. At that point, there's no hope for this game that it's ever gonna return that. And unless Black Ops 6 basically changes that and basically makes me bring back hope, I don't think we're ever going to get back. It's basically going to be filled with Alucards, Snoop Dogg's, Nicki Minaj's, and everything else, dude. And speaking of that, the crossovers. The last downright ugly is the crossovers. The crossovers, man, they were just weird this year. I could understand, and I get it. Cold War we had Saw Puppet in MW 2019. We had Leatherface. Yeah, but at least we didn't overwhelm them like crazy with just that. They were just 2 skins. We just played them as operators. They weren't gonna play as bundles. I wish we could have had finished with them. I didn't mind it either. They didn't overdo it. They still made it part of something of the game, dude. That's just my opinion. And then Cold War had the best crossovers in COD history with Rambo, John McClane from Die Hard, and Ghostface. Ghostface probably being the most iconic in COD history, in my opinion. And it's probably Michael Myers from Ghost, in my opinion. But in the last 2 games, it's just been the weirdest and the most stupidest crossovers ever. I can understand Terminator, think Godzilla, Snoop Dogg, 21 Savage and all that, and where it basically what are we doing here? What is even actually they really are never gonna keep the freaking allegations that they're turning to Fortnite. They basically embrace being the Fortnite knockoff, and that's where they basically are to be in for the rest of their lives, dude. That's my downright ugly. Basically, this is gonna happen. And they basically pissing me off the most because I really have played this game for years, and I've never lost faith until now, dude. Then the next downright ugly, and yeah, the downright ugly just don't stop. And this one's for zombies. Zombies, the abandonment of story. I hate when Call of Duty basically abandons a story without giving it a full chance, and that's what they basically did in here. Instead of basically like just following Easter eggs, you have to follow these steps, which already take a long time, whatnot. But then you have to do this, then you have to do that, then you have to go. Then the story takes too long, and then once you finally get it, you have to watch a cinematic, and then continue going to the acts, keep watching cinematics, all the way till season 5. We finally got the last part of it, which didn't even work. Season 5 was busted, by the way. The last act was so busted that people weren't even playing it. They straight up gave up on it, and they just at this point, they just stopped caring at this point. It was so bad what they did that I just basically couldn't understand. I just basically gave up. I just didn't know what to do anymore. That's just how much I want to keep supporting this and keep playing this Black Ops 6, and I'm telling this now, this is a guarantee. This is no promises, this is a guarantee. This one I'm dead serious about. If this game does well and fixes it, I'm done. I'm never gonna buy another COD no matter what. Unless it's a remastered or anything, I'm never gonna buy a newer brand COD ever. And I'm not joking about it. And the zombies, man, I don't know what to say anymore about the zombies, dude. The zombies was just simply just an underwhelming mess that just basically ruined the storyline. Like, they abandoned the storyline in season 5. I wish we could have gone to season 6 in the Halloween event. That would have actually helped the game out. Instead, they decided just to abandon it because they basically didn't want to give it a try anymore. It was it. Like, once it came out, it was practically just a goner at this point. Like why, dude? Like, why do this? Why make a story and then abandon it even before season 6 began? I get that, that we're already at Cold War and all that, and we're already Cold War, Black Ops 6, and and there's no point. But you could have at least made a mini act, at least like show like a sequel or something. No, they edited it like this, and it's just a stupid ass mess, dude. Activision, you guys suck, dude. You guys absolutely suck. And then lastly, and then the next downright ugly is basically the skins. The skins in this game. And I'm not talking about the bot, and I'm not just talking about the bot ones. I'm talking about the unlockables, and I'm talking about the ones from DLC. Look at all this. Look at all this. You're literally playing as a girl that looks like the freaking, looks like Gwen from Ben 10, like the Gwen Ben 10, where she basically sound bites. Like, it doesn't make no sense why they gave us this shit in the beginning. I don't know, dude. It annoys the shit out of me. This is what we got. You're a freaking Warhammer, for crying out loud. A Warhammer Raider, for crying out loud. You're one of those I never played the game or even watched the show, but that little robotic, which I really called it a Transformer one time, which I'm a dumbass for calling it a Transformer. Remind me never to call something a Transformer, knowing how uncultured I am, and basically, but that's the truth. And then if Call of Duty can embarrass itself even more and practically hurt itself even more, they basically gone to the Fortnite route. This is basically Fortnite 2.0. So, man, that was such a friggin' long ass. I'm running out of breath just even talking about it. So yeah, and the last downright ugly is basically the game in general. A failed experiment before it even began. I mean, this a failed game that should have just been canceled, or just should have been or should have never been thought. I think Call of Duty basically just MWIII is basically just an example of a lost identity and just never worked in the beginning. I would have more preferred this game being canceled and just straight up just being thrown in the bin than absolutely just going for what this piece of shit happened. Like, this was one of the probably the most poorly received in like years since Infinite Warfare, and even that somehow turned out to be an underrated COD. Like that's embarrassing. This is the most embarrassing thing I've seen, dude. And this is not rage bait. This ain't no damn rage bait. This is nothing like, just to get people walking. This is literally just me talking and saying my truth right here. This ended up being one of the worst received CODs in a while, and this is where it's at, basically. Alright, so since now I got all that done, and my thoughts are right there, let's go over some of the things that I also wanted to add. One more thing that I kind of am going to talk about. There is one thing I kind of did want to make this now, is the ranking. We're going to rank all the modes, everything that we done, and I'm going to give it my personal ranking. And I'm just going to say if it was good, if I found something that was actually really enjoyable, that even though no one else liked, that I personally liked, something like that. So the first one is multiplayer. Now, I bashed the multiplayer enough for losing its identity, but I also didn't bash it as much as for what was its gameplay value. I mean, the gameplay is pretty decent. It basically had all the movement problems what MWIII had, and I basically saw what they were trying to do, and that was the part why I enjoyed it for a while. Why I enjoyed it until, season 4 basically lose it. Then I enjoyed it for season 5 and everything. Finishing moves were fun to use, and it was just one of those where I didn't mind stuff. It is what it is, basically, and practically, yeah. I mean, a lot of people might have their own opinions on the game itself, but for me, I really didn't mind the multiplayer that much. But at the end, it basically kind of got to the point, especially right when the Gameradic OUT and C3 were added. It was basically then that's when it started becoming one of those camp and sweat fests that we all were practically in right now. So the multiplayer, in my opinion, even though a lot of people may rank it as one of their worst, I honestly personally didn't think it was that bad. I saw I had some good moments on here. I had some good moments on here, especially playing it and all that type of stuff, and practically doing what I can to make this fun. And I had some fun with it, though I had some rage moments though. The aftermarket parts were fun too. I see the aftermarket parts, just messing around with it, trolling players with it, were also pretty fun on here. And yeah, but for everything else, those were it. Those were just personal preferences. For in general, I have to give it basically the multiplayer a 6 out of 10. I mean, you know what? A 5 out of 10. A 5 out of 10 is practically what I can best give it. Because I mean, as much as how much it's fallen off, I don't mind the multiplayer that much. I thought it was a bit underrated, but at the same time, it was also a bit overrated at the same time, which is weird. But I mean, I don't find myself saying, oh, it's one of the best. People are hating on it too much. No, people have the right to hate on it because how it was treated. I honestly feel like it should deserve a little bit of love. Now the zombies is practically probably a 2 out of 10, maybe even a 2 out of 10. Underwhelming, not very fun because even though that yes, it can get fun at some points when you're doing it, in reality it's just boring all around. The story was also just underwhelming. I get that they try to add soap to it and try to make it much as they could. I just felt like it was so underwhelming. I mean, at least that's what I thought. I felt like they just made the story just something they could slap on a script, like slap a script, and then boom, we're done. We're done. Move on to the next game. That's what it felt like. When in reality, that's what I felt like it was. And then and the worst part is how they released it. Instead of releasing it like once a day, like one at a time, they instead just try to make it into like they basically ruined it by making this into, how do I say it more, like okay, I got it. Just a weird story that just one of the weird stories that just didn't make any sense. It was sense. And even though Soap didn't die on this one, or had no fourth on this one, I don't know if he did because I didn't actually play the season 5 one, so I can't really have an opinion on that one. But I just felt like it was just boring all around. I gave up on it like a long time ago, so that's why I give it a 2. And I wish I could have had just give it a different map, not the same map that they were using, just a different map to give it some variety. And then the campaign, I ain't holding back of this ranking. It's a 0. It's practically maybe even a -5 out of 10. And that's practically being generous. This was absolutely, the campaign was 100% the worst campaign in COD history. Like it's so bad that even if you get a negative ranking by IGN, or basically COD glazers at this point, like they literally gave Mortal, and when I say COD glazers, I really mean COD glazers. Like Mortal Kombat X was out there, and Mortal Kombat X was doing way better than any COD, because even though MKX is one of my favorite one of my favorites, like my second favorite one next to MK9, because well, I love Mortal Kombat. I don't just play Call of Duty. I play other games. I play other games too, so I mean, so at least that's that. But I mean, the point I'm trying to make is that the point is that it was basically one of the worst, because it was basically so the open combat missions made it just pointless to play. It was just practically pointless. It was just basically open world missions, like based on basically just maps from reused Warzone maps. The story was, there was no normal regular story. They basically abused the shit out of the open combat missions, and I just didn't see the point on them. All I just saw was basically a quick cash grab. But the worst part about that cash grab is that practically how they handled it. They had so many crossovers. They turned the game that was so, and it was practically just, okay, wait, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the wrong thing. Shit. So practically the campaign was definitely deserves the worst ranking in my opinion. I mean, there was nothing enjoyable. It just felt like in my opinion, it was filler. It wasn't even just filler at best. It really wasn't even filler. Filler is basically just being too generous. It was so bad that it like even words can't describe how bad it was. Basically, I can't even describe it. It's just that bad. So with that being said, so the ranking is definitely a -5, which brings me to the end of basically MWIII and my last opinions on it. So let's start off with my last basically opinions and thoughts. At first, when I downloaded the game, I didn't know what to expect. I really expected just an underwhelming campaign, one of those DLC games. Just a game that definitely was supposed to be just a DLC. Like you could even see see it, like, you know, you can even see the reason why people call this basically a DLC, like a $70 DLC, which I saw it, which I can see it now. Which I can see it now. Okay, not now. I've always seen it. The one thing that basically ruined it, if you want to talk about one of the worst about the campaign, well, it was practically the open combat missions and everything that made the campaign bad. I mean, I get they were trying to expand it, but it just practically threw away everything that we wanted. It was the campaign that ruined it for me, and the zombies was so underwhelming. Like, I see some funness in zombies. Like, I actually had a few times where I actually did use zombies, but it was mostly just to rank up stuff at that point. That's all I felt zombies was just a way to rank up weapons and guns and everything. It didn't feel like a true. It didn't feel like a. It didn't even feel like the normal zombies that we've been accustomed to. It just felt like a weird zombies that just didn't fit the purpose. I think in my opinion, I think it's up there with one of the worst. I won't say it's guaranteed the worst sides. I mean, MWIII, Vanguard are up there. Heck, even Vanguard and many others up there. But I mean, yeah, 3 years in a row without a good game. It's just something that's just sad. It hurts me more because I've been a COD fan since then, and it's practically made me feel like a dummy for even continuing on with this franchise sometimes. It's almost like it's basically me being a Cardinals fan too as well, because I've been an Arizona fan, and basically me being disappointed every year by so many playoff failures and everything. It's basically like being a fan of a team, being like the Wizards and the White Sox or anything like that, and it just feels like you guys had it all, basically, and it's practically taken away because of some shit. Which I'm sorry for putting you in this position, White Sox fans. I did not mean many malicious intent. It was just used for example. But yeah. So, and my last thought was multiplayer. I really didn't think that multiplayer was that bad. MW2's definitely was much worse. I get some people are saying now that MW2 wasn't that bad. We overhated it because of the movement, which I get that. But I felt like there was nothing too substantial with it either. Like, I felt like I didn't feel nothing substantial either with MW2. With it that made me think, oh, this is gonna be the best. Oh, this is gonna be the. It just felt so underwhelming and just so like lifeless. That's what I'm trying to get. Is that it just felt so lifeless, and it just. Yeah, I mean, so that practically it's just so lifeless. It just at first I kind of had a glimmer of hope, and then I lost it right after like season 3. I felt like it was kind of like it was it for the game. Alright.
Mission
Pretty
failed.
much that's it now. I think I'm done ranting, I'm done yapping, I'm done talking about this game. I'm done talking about, you know, and at this point I made everybody left the game because of my own voice. But pretty much, yeah, I'm done, yo. I'm gonna get off. It was fun. I think it was good to get a good retrospective, and the truth is, I'm not joking, this is probably more likely 6 arrives because I honestly can't take this. I honestly am quite done with this game. I think I'm ready to move on to the next COD game. I mean, it did what it did. I mean, I had some good moments with it, especially playing as some weird characters, using all bizarre finishing moves and all that, which I wonder if I want to try to get at least one of every finishing move before Black Ops 6 comes out, and then upload it. At least one of each one. One right here. Which I might do starting tomorrow, and then all week we'll just go from the beginning all the way to the end. That includes even the copy and dupe in Snoop's own one. But yeah, so practically that's it, y'all. I'm done. I'm gonna get off. And if I don't see you next week on this, then I'll see you when Black Ops 6 comes out, guys. Which is, let me see how many far away now. We are. Let's see how much days we are away. We're practically. Oh, we have one more week, and then that's it. So yeah, I think that might be the best we can do at this point. So yeah, so pretty much I'm gonna head off. Tomorrow I'm hoping I can get all this stream footage all together and shorten it down to one long video, so that way you don't just hear me yapping about repeating the same thing and just talking about and all that. But yeah, that's practically it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, we'll see you guys when Black Ops 6 comes out. And also, if you notice some new changes with the TikTok and all that, like I said, I've been using TikTok to use for some of my shorts because I feel like you get much better editing at that. And plus with this, and plus it's what it is. I know it's more annoying to hear me talk and all that, but yeah. Also, I'm a bit excited for Wednesday, October 15th. Because we get 3 minutes on our YouTube shorts. 3 full minutes. Also, and lastly, new ideas coming out pretty soon. Maybe we do some for Black Ops 6 starting with the new short and a new TikTok pretty soon. And that's about it. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm done. And I'll see you guys probably on the release of Black Ops 6 or maybe on the Halloween weekend. We'll see. Anyway, I'll see you all later. Peace. That was a long yapping. Whew, I finally let my true feelings out.